What up, YouTube? We back for another stream right here, man. And this is gonna be a typical thing, man. Like as we wait for people to come into the room, man, I'm going to talk about something. And today we're gonna talk about an article that I went on ahead and wrote, and this thing keep on messing with me. But there we go. So, article that I wrote today, well, it's actually a multiple part article that I definitely want to go through the whole thing because they're all going to be posted up on downloadpass.com before like the next stream of it comes up. You did. But the thing is, I want to give people the guidelines in order to be successful in life, not just as a rapper. You know, me personally, I like to focus on teaching individuals how to be successful rap artists, how to build themselves up from nothing. But yet, these techniques can be taken from a whole bunch of different areas. You feel me? And which it all starts from finding your passion. The first thing you need to do is figure out exactly what it is you want to do. Sounds simple, but sadly, most people out here really can't see that. Like, most people really just come out here like, yo, I just want to get this money. And that's so vague because there's 1,000 things that you can do in order to get money. You feel me? Like, I got a cousin, and when she went to college, she kept on changing her major. She never knew what she actually wanted to do in her life. So she decided, I just want to get some money. And the best way that I know that people are always hiring for got accountants. And when she went into being an accountant, and the things that she did like about being accountants, man, came from school, but didn't realize that by the time she graduated and went into the industry, all these things that she liked about being an accountant, like that's not what being an accountant is all about. Like she liked actually fixing books and all of that, but yet all of that has become automated in the whole industry. They don't tell you that. And she's out here getting paid as an accountant, but yet what can you like? But honestly, man, how happy can you actually be to get paid to do something well, but yet you can't stand to do what it is you want to do? So the first thing that's very important is for you to go ahead and find something that you like to do, because when you find that, you can find a way to monetize it and actually be successful with it. The next thing is you need to develop yourself, develop your skill set so that you can be successful in this whole thing. And this is one thing that you look at specifically with rappers, because there's a lot of rappers out here, dude, who you can tell they're garbage. They're really not that good of MCs or anything. They didn't take the time to develop themselves, but yet they own. And that's the thing that a lot of people have questions about. Like, why should I try to become the best rapper that I can possibly be when these dudes are out here being so terrible and finding success and all of that? Like, the first thing is this developmental process, that's for you so you can become the best in your own rap. But that's how you get long-term success. Like, none of these dudes out here in the music industry who's putting out all of this subpar music and all of that, they're not going to be around for all that long. You feel me? And what are they going to do after the rap game is done? To be honest with you, a lot of these guys, they just disappear, fall off by the wayside, and then you got the next generation coming in. So therefore, you want to be skillful at anything that you choose to do. After you try to become skillful at it, man, then you have to learn the industry. Whatever industry it is, whether it's the music industry, whether no matter what it is you decide to do, I'm just focusing on music. You feel me? But you got to learn that game. You got to learn the pitfalls. You got to learn the path that other people have taken. Like, sadly, people look at individuals like Ludacris who give you lyrics and such, telling you how he threw all of the units of his album into the trunk and he went out there and sold them joints. But yet, when you read deeper into the things that he actually did to be a successful, when you read deeper into the things that he did in order to be a success in the music industry, you realize that's not really what he did. What Ludacris did was he signed up to be a personality on the radio. And then from there, he started building his own connections. You feel me? He started building a syndicate of connections through all of these other hosts and such that he went and met. And based off of that, when he created his records, he pushed it on to his people to play it for him, and then he played it himself in like the third person. Like, yeah, there's this guy, his name is Ludacris. Go ahead and try to give this record a chance. Like, he would do that, even though he knew it was his record. And from there, he broke himself to being a success. Like, you got to learn these things and learn how to finesse the game from there. You feel me? Learn the game. Don't sit up and assume that people are doing such things in order to get put on, believing like, oh, you got the Illuminati behind them, that's why they get put on. That's all a cop out so that you can't find your way into your own success. You got to learn what all of these people are doing. And they tell you in their books, in their articles, you got to sit up and read, bruh. But then from there, you learn the game, you know that you're passionate about this game, and you develop yourself skillfully, man. What do you do from there? You develop your own game plan. You feel me? You develop your own plan in order to find success in this game. And these things, man, they come and they go. Like, you could have a great plan that you believe is going to work out for you to be the biggest success in the music industry, and then you just overlook something that was pretty big, something that you definitely shouldn't have overlooked, and that whole plan falls apart. That type of planning happens all the time until you figure it out. Like, you use your failed plans in order to build the next plans. And eventually you're going to get it all together. You're going to eventually make it so that you got the right plan for you to catapult yourself into notoriety. And then the last thing on how to be a success in any industry out here, dude, is you make adjustments to that said plan and you never give up. Like, as long as you continually move forward, like when this one plan fails, you figure out what it is that worked in that plan. If all the things that didn't work in that plan, you scrap it out, you take what did work, and you continue to push that. You feel me? Like, those are the adjustments. And as long as you continue to push forward, Cedric, what up, Cedric? Is Kendrick the greatest to me? No, he's not. But anyway, to finish up the whole article, you feel me? What up, Sean? But to finish up the whole article, you keep on adjusting. You never give up. Like, the second that you give up on your path, give up on your dreams, man, you already lost. So if you just stay with it and you continue to try to find something new and something different, then you will eventually find your way into being the success that you wanted to be. It may take 10 years, may take 15 years, it may take who knows how long, but you can get there, bro. What up, Cedric? Much love, bro. Much love, Cedric, man. In which I remember your name. I remember a whole bunch of comments that you say I do believe, Cedric. So much love to you, my G. But see people finally coming into the people coming up in here, you dig? And I just did the article, so if you guys want to go back, like when it's post up, you can see all of that, dude. But today, going to talk about a bunch of things. And you could tell through the artwork and all of that, man. I'm going to be touching on the Kendrick Lamar being on Power. If you guys saw it, I mean, I don't want to give away spoilers and all that. That's kind of why I waited till the live stream to address it and all of that, man. But it was rather interesting. But we're going to touch on that a little bit later. Thing I also wanted to talk about is that Trayvon Martin documentary, that Rest in Power that Jay-Z did. But I'm touching on that later as well, man, after we talk about this one thing too. Like, did you guys hear the Lil Wayne DBZ song? Well, it's not really a song. It's really just him putting the idea together, maybe for himself in the future, or maybe for somebody else. You never know who he's writing this stuff for. Like, DBZ is really in right now, especially with the younger generation and all of that. And you know, I was big on Dragon Ball when I was young, man. Like, how many people actually remember when Dragon Ball kept on looping itself? Like, it never got past. I haven't listened to that Lil Wayne. See, it was it was one that went under the radar. Like it didn't really make it onto hot new hip hop and all of these other joints. Like you got to go through the underground websites in order to find that joint. You feel me? But how many people actually went heavy on Dragon Ball way back in the day before they changed up the voice acting, before like they even completed the Frieza saga? Because like it always got to the point back in the day. Yes, indeed, Sean. It got to the point way back in the day when I think it was when the Ginyu Force first landed in the Frieza saga, when that's when the voice acting all ended for the American version, and they just would repeat it all the way back, going to when Vegeta and them was coming to Earth in the very first saga of DBZ. Like that's how far back I go, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it all the way, man. Like when I finally got a chance to finish the Frieza saga in English, because I did sit up and watch it in Japanese, didn't know anything that they were saying, but yet I enjoyed the artwork. You know, you like the whole superpower that these guys have, and when Goku went Super Saiyan in Japanese, I didn't know anything that was happening, but I knew that was fire. But I made it through that, and then I made it through like some of the Cell saga, but then I realized that I was pretty much done. Back then, bro, there was no there was no dub and there was no sub. Like this was the Japanese version, bro. Like you had to actually watch it on Japanese channels, and I forgot exactly what the Japanese channel was that we had way back when, but like but there was the English dub though that led up to the point where it just went into the Japanese. But I used to like Dragon Ball, man, and like one of my homies who I do all the events and stuff with, he been trying to get me to watch Dragon Ball Super for so long, dude. But I'm like, I I never finished the Frieza saga. I mean, I finished the Frieza saga. I never finished the Cell saga. And then when I saw the Boo saga, I heard everybody loved the Boo saga and all of that, man. I never really got into it. Like I just let Dragon Ball go and went into a bunch of other animes and stuff. You feel me? Like, and there's a lot of really good animes that I've watched over the years that I really enjoyed, like Requiem of Phantom and all of that, man. Like, there's a bunch of solid stuff out there. But me and Dragon Ball, I've been done with it. But back to the point, uh, Lil Wayne dropped the DBZ track where, like, of course, he's not going to stay on point with anything because he automatically starts talking about sex. He automatically starts talking about anything that just comes to his mind. You feel me? But the one thing that I did like that he said, man, he said he's Wheezy F Broly. Super ain't that bad. I heard the artwork got better. I heard the storyline got better as it continued to go. But at the beginning of it, they were saying that it was that bad. But you could tell that he was focusing this entire song around the fact that the whole Broly movie is coming up. Where I saw the trailer for it, I saw like Broly got 5 different forms and all that. Which Broly, I like Broly. I kind of wanted to play with Broly in the Dragon Ball game, Dragon Ball Fighters. But I never really got into Dragon Ball Fighters. I got the game. I just never play it because it's one for the Xbox. I really shouldn't have got it for the Xbox because my controller just isn't right for any kind of fighting games on the Xbox. I should have got it for the PC. But Broly, man, he was always a one-dimensional character that hated Kakarot for no reason. And and to be real with you, man, I just never really dug Broly like that. Like I like him as a imposing figure. I like the big bodies in the games and stuff. That's why I wanted to play with Broly in the Dragon Ball Fighters. But yet his storylines was rather whack in the movies that I saw back in the day. And now this movie, it looks a little decent. I'm probably gonna rock with it. Just see if I can get back into Dragon Ball. But we're gonna bring it all the way back again, man. That the whole DBZ song that he was doing is pretty trash. Like he's probably trying to sell it to one of these new up and coming acts or whatever, where everybody is talking about Dragon Ball and all that. Which I think it can pay off. I think he can make a lot of money, and I do think it can help him expand his brand if he actually makes it into a real song instead of it being the demo that it is right now. Like definitely go ahead and peep it out, man. But yet, nah. It's really not that interesting of a track. You feel me? Hmm. But let's go ahead and talk about this Kendrick Lamar on Power for a second. You feel me? Like, how many did everybody see Kendrick Lamar on Power? Like, I felt like when I first saw Kendrick Lamar pop up on there, I'm like, bruh, oh Sean, I don't wanna spoil it for you, brother. But I'm definitely gonna give away some spoilers right here, so you can go ahead hit mute for maybe I don't know. I'll probably talk about it for 15, 20, 25 minutes or so. But so Kendrick was on Power, and like they said that he was going to be on it leading up to it. I think 50 dropped the whole teaser saying that Kendrick is going to be on this episode. And I was hoping for something big. Like I was hoping for Kendrick to have like a killer role. And when he finally did pop up, I'm like, oh, come on, bro. Like, because they made him into the new age Pookie from New Jack City. You feel me? And he just a straight up crackhead all the way. And this lets you know like the realities of things in the whole acting realm and the whole everything. You dig? Like when you first get into the acting, when you first get into making movies, TV shows, unless you doing your own stuff and it's your own videos and all of that stuff, you feel me? Then people gonna put you in odd roles. They're gonna put you in roles that you're not going to be too happy about. Like I remember I was actually in a music video of a buzzing artist that was here in Charlotte with this guy. Like when I read the script of everything that he wanted to do, I'm like, bruh, you for real? Like you want me to play this role, dude? Like, like it's like what Dave Chappelle said, man. Like you never want to be in a rapper's music video because all they want to do is just crap on you. Like they want to use you to step over you so they can prove to be the best and all of that stuff, man. And that's just the reality of everybody else's stuff until you build up your own. They're gonna put you into these pretty crappy roles. But, you know, as time progressed in that episode, man, everything that Kendrick was doing, I'm like, okay, this role actually isn't all that bad. Even though he's Pookie of a new generation, he still is dropping a little bit of knowledge here and there. Like how him and Kanan was interacting and such, man, on how Kanan was using them to run up on niggas and shit. Like that was cool. And I mean, you realize how savage Kanan actually is and why he can never have any friends. Which video you was apart from that Carolina? Nah, I wasn't in the Carolina anthem. And to be real with you, I all the way forgot the name of the video that I was actually in, dude. And to be honest with you, I really wouldn't even promote it because the song wasn't that strong too, and I didn't like the role. I'm just gonna leave that to the side. I ain't rocking with that. But like the key things about Kendrick Lamar's role is he shows you the insight of Kanan. He shows you why Kanan is untrustworthy, why Kanan can't have no friends, why Kanan like, because at the end of the time when they were setting up all these dudes, the first thing Kanan thought was, yo, I need to kill this dude. He can snitch on me. He can get me set up. Anything can happen. And that's the smart thing to do. Like when you savage in the game like that, man, why leave a witness? But yet, in this grand scheme of it, like it made Like he could kill him, but yet who's actually going to listen to this crackhead? Like what police officer is going to pull up the crackhead? Like, yeah, you telling me that you participated in all these killings? Who was it that did it? Like, what police officer is actually going to make anything like that stick? So it wasn't necessary that he could kill Kendrick on that joint. Even though, if you guys go back to The Wire, like with Bubs going out there snitching to the police and all of that, he definitely got the whole cartel of the whole West Side down bad because he was just out there dropping dime on everybody so he can come up with money. And then they got personal with him because they beat up his boy and all of that stuff, dude. So at the end of the day, I think Kanan probably should have killed Kendrick in this joint. But yet, there's no way that they would do that because you never know when you would want Kendrick to come back for a recurring thing. You did like this could have been a huge role that people wanted to see more of. So why kill him off when he first got started? You feel me? But yet when he's sitting up, like when he pulls the gun on Kendrick, and Kendrick's like, "Man, who is you? What up, Isaiah? And what do you mean? What you really you think so?" But at the end of the day, man, he probably should have killed Kendrick because that can all come back on him. But yet there was like, why do it when it would take a special type of police officer to make anything that a crackhead says to anybody stick? So with the fact being that this could have been Kendrick's one of his bigger roles or whatever in the whole show that people coming to see the show for, why kill him? Why not leave the opportunity for him to come back? And I mean, I think this role gave Kendrick the ability to go out there and get put into certain movies. You feel me? Yes, Isaiah, I do believe that Kanan should have killed Kendrick because everything comes back when you in that game. You can't have no witnesses with like killing. He killed what 5, 6 people with this guy who's an eyewitness, who's pretty much somebody who's along for the ride and all of that. You feel me? So if he gets jammed up just for being a crackhead, like police could just roll up on him like, okay, you can't be doing drugs out here, man. You're gonna go into the tank for the night. And he doesn't want to be in the tank for the night. What does he have to get out? Like, oh, you guys remember these murders that happened? Like back to back to back to back? I actually know the guy who did that. If you just not let me go into the tank for the night, I'll tell you exactly who it is that did that. Like a person who's into killing himself, like crackheads are, they have no issues with turning on you as a person. So yes, Kanan should have killed Kendrick, but yet in the grand scheme of the show, it doesn't make any sense. And you could see, okay, he actually did like the kid. He actually did like Kendrick to a degree, and he was smooth enough that he could use him again in the future. So it wouldn't. So why not leave him alive potentially? But yet, the smart move for any like criminal out there probably would have killed him. Definitely should have killed him. But as I'm saying, man, doing roles like this, it opens you up to being able to do bigger roles in the future. And I think Kendrick has shown his ability of acting because when you look at rap, man, the rap game ain't nothing but the acting game these days anyway. Most of these dudes are not living these lyrics that they saying. All it is stepping in the booth, knowing your lines, saying it with passion so that people will believe in you. Doesn't that sound like acting? Like that's acting 101. To keep it 100, it's just a different format. You just got to know more words and you got to be able to walk and know your appearance on the camera. So, with that being so, and the fact that he went on did one of these crappy roles, well, it wasn't a crappy role, but the fact that he did a pretty bad role, he'll possibly have another role in the future for like a movie to do a pretty crappy role. But yet, if he does well at that and bring other people in there, then he could go ahead and step it up. Like he showcased the fact that he's a skillful rapper that can translate over to him acting. So from there, if he so decides, if he makes it into one of his own passions to be a full-fledged actor, I think he has the possibility to do it. Like Kendrick shows us here that he could have been in the NWA movie, Straight Outta Compton. It looks like he could have did a good job in that too. Who knows who he would have played? I mean, come on, man, Sean. They come to you with the script and say, okay, we want you to play this crackhead that's out here getting used by Kanan to murder people that you pretty much knew, and then you go on top all this black empowerment, somewhat a little bit of black empowerment while you're going, but yet nobody's gonna take you serious. Honestly, you're comedic relief. You're just here to uh to make sure that Kanan can get away with killing all of these people. Like that's not a great role in the grand scheme of these things that that be happening in power. Like I would have liked to see Kendrick. I mean, if he was going to play a different role outside of being a crackhead, I would like to see him as a just straight up gangster, or maybe somebody on the political end with the guy who's all but setting up Ghost and all of that, man. Like have him involved in that political realm on building up the society or building up communities and all that. Like him being somebody that he had to go see, who actually knows about the community, who actually knows about uh, certain things that need to happen in order for Ghost to actively be a politician. Like it seems as though he wants to kind of help out Being. Like there's a bunch of other things that he could have did. Oh, that makes sense. Of course, rappers not living these lyrics. Something like to put on a facade. Yeah, man. Like most of these 99% of these dudes out here ain't living the life that they claim to do. So they have futures in being actors. Ever since Lobo's died, the show's been it's been jumbled. It has. It has been. Like I'm trying to give it a chance though. Like hopefully it'll get better as the season progresses. But if it doesn't, I'm probably going to go back to the Ozark. If you guys have watched the Ozark off of Netflix, if you haven't, watch it. Ozark is like that, like that. Like, and it's about washing money and all of that stuff, dude. And Power seems to going to continue to go until the Ozark comes back. So if Power doesn't pick up, I'ma drop Power and just go back with Ozark. And then maybe I'll come back. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, Lobos, I didn't even really like Lobos's character all the way like that to begin with. Sons is your favorite joint? Sons of Anarchy? Sons of Anarchy was dope. And yeah, Isaiah, yeah, Ozark is fire. Like a lot of people slept on it, but that joint, like when they dropped the dude off of the building and he was about to walk in and tell his woman his mind or whatever, and he just turned around and left, like that. From there, Ozark had me hooked. Like I had to binge it from that point on. But Sons of Anarchy was cool. It got repetitive near the like third, fourth season. It got kind of repetitive, but yet Sons of Anarchy was pretty cool. But I mean, my favorite show was probably The Wire. Wire probably easily The Wire. But then there's a lot. I watch a lot of shows, dude, in which I like. I can just jump from show to show to show to show and tell you what was dope and what was terrible. Like Game of Thrones is fire. Uh, Breaking Bad was fire. Uh, man, like I like to watch little odd shows and stuff too. Like how many people ever watched Chuck from back in the day? Like Chuck was dope. Like every single episode of Chuck was pretty dope. And in fact, the actor of Chuck is now about to play Shazam in the Shazam movie, and he doesn't look right, but yet he'll fit the role because he's a funny dude. But there's a ton of great shows, man. You still didn't watch Breaking Bad, bro. Ah, oh, Sean, you gotta watch Breaking Bad. Like it starts off slow. You gotta get like 3, 4 episodes deep, but yet it's fire. Oh, Chuck. Chuck was a spy show, dude. In which it was on it was a long time ago. Like you're gonna have to go watch it on websites and stuff. Like it's not on like any of the typical stuff no more. But it was a straight up spy show where every episode there was like 2 really big twists. And it just kept you on the seat of your pants, man, the whole way. Better Call Saul was good though. I like Better Call Saul. Like they bringing it back. Like it's see, Better Call Saul is just like Breaking Bad. The like personality pieces. Like they delve into certain individuals' personalities, and that's what pushes the entire show. Like it's not so much the drug dealing of the meth and all of that, man. It's more of what was it that broke down this school teacher so much that he decided to cook up the best form of meth that there is. Like that's the whole premise of these guys type of writing. And I like it. Like it comes off as slow, but when you get into the drama and you understand the characters and how they react to each other, like it is pretty dope. Oh, of what? Of Cedric, like Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad? Like Breaking Bad all day. Oh, Breaking Bad all day was better than Saul. But yet, Saul is a pretty decent spinoff. The Walking Dead is the best you ever seen, Isaiah, and I got to. Walking Dead is trash. It's been trash for a very long time. I watched like 3 seasons of it. My cousins continue to try to pester me. Like, you gotta watch Breaking Bad. I mean, not Breaking Bad, Walking Dead. Like, bruh, I'm done with zombies. Well, at least the zombies. Like, season 1 was trash. Season 2 was a little better. Season 3, it started to pick up. I think that's when they was going against the governor or something, in which that was pretty decent. But I'm like, you know what? It's starting to get like a soap opera, and nobody is actually really dying from the core group, quote unquote. So I'm letting this go. Now, Cedric the Mayans MC, I'm probably gonna watch that. I'm probably gonna give it a chance. I'm probably gonna watch. I always tend to give shows 5 episodes. If it doesn't impress in those 5 episodes, then I'm gonna move on. Like I already got like my selection of shows that I'm gonna watch for the fall season. That show New Amsterdam was like a drama about like a hospital and all of that, starring my dude from uh I forget the show, but it looks deep. Like everybody who watches it, like okay, I can't watch this because it's gonna make me break down in tears. I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna watch God Friended Me with my boy from the mayor, the black guy. Like I cannot wait for that. Like even though it doesn't seem to be as good as the mayor was, like I'm sad that that got canceled. That was a great show. It was only 5, 6 episodes. It should have went deeper. Uh what else am I going to watch? There's a spy show coming up. Uh, I can't I can't think of the name of it though. And it got my boy from Everybody Hates Chris. He was the main guy from Everybody Hates Chris. He's going to be in the. It's called Cavalier and Whiskey. That show looked like it could be good. Uh, there's that one show where like a whole bunch of people hop into an airplane, and then the airplane hits turbulence, and then when they land, like the airplane was disappeared for like 5 years, and they come back and they all look the same and all of that stuff. Like I'm definitely gonna give that one a chance. And there's one more show that's coming out outside of the Mayans that I want to go ahead and watch. Peaky, I rocks with Peaky Blinders, dude. I can't wait for Peaky Blinders. Peaky Blinders, like even though you got to watch it with the subtitles on, because the accents are crazy, bro. But yet, I love that gangsterness. But if you like Peaky Blinders, Cedric, then you must like Luther. What up, Hella Bands? And I saw Travis Scott dropped a single. Well, he didn't drop it. The single leaked, and I kind of wanted to review it, but I never got around to it. But yet, that Astro World is probably going to drop on Thursday. If not on Thursday, a little later. But I'm definitely going to review Travis Scott when it does come out. Never saw Luther. Luther is Idris Elba. From The Wire and all, from everything. Everybody know Idris. Idris is how you pronounce his name. And it's a BBC show. It's like a England joint where he plays a detective, but he's a crooked detective whose best friend is a serial killer. And like it just goes in. Like the episodes is only like, I mean, the seasons is only like 3 episodes a season. And I think it's like 3-4 seasons now. But you could definitely peep it on Netflix. At least I watched it on Netflix. You know, Netflix start taking stuff off randomly. Ah, man. But since we talking about shows, uh, who all watched that Rest in Power, the Trayvon Martin story that Jay-Z did? I'm sure hella bands. I'm sure. I mean, see, Kendrick, he popped up just so randomly. Like I knew he was gonna be in the show and I was waiting for him, but yet when he just popped up randomly as a crackhead, I'm like, oh man, it kind of got to me, and they knew what they was doing, and that's why social media blew up like that. But how many people watched that Rest in Power, the Trayvon Martin story? Because like I sat up and watched it, and that shit is still heartbreaking still to this day. Like on the real, like on see, it just shows you that this is the precursor of everything that's happening today. When we as black people allowed George Zimmerman to get away with this without any kind of seeing him in the streets, without doing anything to him at all, everybody else took notes. Everything that has happened in that whole case is continually have popped up consistently. Because for those of you who have seen it, there's certain things like when George Zimmerman called the police and then ran up on Trayvon Martin and pretended to be the victim and shot and killed him. How many times are we seeing this happen still to this day? Like all these people running up on black children for selling water, running up on black children, black women, like ran up on this black woman for talking about selling what are they called? The money or whatever that they give people who's broken Section 8 and all of that stuff. Like white people running up on you, calling the police. That's exactly what George Zimmerman did. George Zimmerman provided the blueprint for you to call the police on black people and get away with killing them. But yet, police are somewhat used by these people in order to kill us. George Zimmerman took it upon his own hands to do it. But at the end of the day, they're using that same exact formula that he created from back in the day. And there's a lot of things, because it's the first episode of 6 that was very interested about this man, and which the only reason why he was down where he got murdered by George Zimmerman is because he got suspended from school because he had a baggie that had weed residue in it. And real talk, my moms would have shut that shit down. On the real. Like, you gonna suspend my son for having a baggie with weed residue? Like, either there's weed in it or there's not. You're not going to suspend my son for having a bag that you suspect was weed in it, that it smells like could possibly been weed in it. Did you catch weed on him or not? If you didn't, you're not suspending him. So that was one thing about the story that kind of irked me. The next thing is when they went on ahead and got George Zimmerman, and he's sitting up there explaining the story and all of this. Like, okay, did he have a gun? No. You had a gun. You pursued him and you shot him. And they didn't arrest him. I'm like, the fix was in from that point. They were automatically looking for ways to get George Zimmerman off at that point. Like, they might not even have thought of the stand your ground rule or anything like that while this was going on. They just didn't want to do anything with him, and they figured it out as they went on. You feel me? Because here's the thing. How many people watch the first 48? Black people get arrested for far less on the first 48 all the time than actually admitting that you actually had the gun and you shot him and you pursued him. Black people go down just for that. They go down for far less. Dudes snitch on themselves. Like, other people just saying that you were in that area. That's how people go down. You feel me? So for them to seek out any kind of excuse that they could to not charge George Zimmerman, you could tell the fix was in. And then, I mean, this guy, Benjamin Crump, who's the attorney for a lot of the things that happened down there for like black civil rights and all of that. This dude hasn't proven to have been able to do anything. Like, he was able to get the tapes from the jail to shut down boot camps and such. That's the best thing that he did, which, okay, he put in a little work with that one. And the way that he was trying to take social media and all of that and spin it into building it into a big thing that everybody knows about this now, like, that was cool, but it became the double-edged blade. Because the bigger that it has become, the worse it has been for black people. Like, yes, we are aware of Trayvon Martin and the tragic story of it and the fact that this white supremacist got away with it and all of that. That is terrible, but we all understand. But at the end of the day, all of these white people white supremacists, I'm sorry, not white people, white supremacists who watched this case because it became such a notable thing, they're all running the same formula. So therefore, how much of a positive was this spinning to make it into the big social media thing that it was? You just gave these people the right and the blueprint to kill us all still to this day. and get away with it. And I mean, it really just told everybody in the world, one, that black people, we are weak. We're not gonna sit up and do anything. Like the real thing here is if social if the legislative if the judicial system ain't gonna give you justice for somebody's cold-heartedly killing your people, then they leave you no option but to take it to the streets. And when you don't take it to the streets, you get proven to be weak. And now, since the world has seen exactly how weak we actually are, how nobody is willing to go out there and like put in work for the squad you did. Like Jay-Z said, like y'all ain't did nothing for Zimmerman, but yet y'all gonna go out here and kill Triple X. Like the streets is done. And yes, the streets is done, but we as black people, we done. Until we rise up and realize the entire system is against us. The police is against us. The judges are against us. These white juries that they find consistently are against us. Everybody in every cog in the system has been against us. Man, there's even black people that's against us. The coons, they are consistently against us. So if you gonna sit up here and show how weak you are and beg and plead and all of this stuff, man, hoping that one day the conscience of these supremacist people who have no positivity in their souls at all, they don't have any souls, you ain't gonna do anything about it, then things are gonna escalate. That's why it seems as though every day these days, man, there's another murder, like the sister Nia, who got stabbed up, her and her sister, but she's the one who died. You got all of these black people that's just getting ran down on everywhere, not just by police, but by regular people. Man, like even like the Asians and all of that stuff, man, they realize how weak black people are. Like, and then that's the thing, like something that Tariq Nasheed says all the time, man. There's no minority. Like you want to seek out protection with Hispanics. You want to seek out protection with Asians. Like we're all minorities. We should work together. But they work with white people. They think they white. Why do you think all of these Latinos and stuff, mostly Cubans from Florida, voted for Trump? The same people that's getting deported. Like, how many times have you guys seen uh, these articles where uh, like this Trump supporter is ashamed of America because her people are getting deported now because she voted, thought that she was all good. Neil Wilson got stabbed in the back by a white supremacist member called the Proud Boys. Yes, straight up white supremacy, and it wasn't like, was it in the back? Like I heard that they both got cut in their throat, but it could be on the back. No, I'd never seen the On My Block TV show, Isaiah. It was in the back. Damn. But I mean, that's cowardice. Like all of them dudes are straight up cowards. Like you realize they only going after women, children, elderly. Like they don't ever go up against young black males who say 20 to 30. You hardly ever see that. 2018 has been a rough year. Hey man, it's only just begun until you begin to fight back, bruh. Like, because here's the thing about these coward white supremacists, it escalates. The more you let things slide with people, the more they take another mile. You got to be willing to shut that down. You got to be willing to fight and throw down. Get what's yours, to quote Tupac from Juice. Maybe not the right quote to use, but yet maybe it is. You got to be willing to go down and die for what you believe in if you want some juice. And as a people, we ain't got no juice out here, dude. We weak. We suspect out here. Like, we the dudes that Debo roll up on and take their chain. That's how we act. We red out here on Friday. Like, if you ain't gonna stand up to Debo, then Debo gonna keep coming at you. Like, I need that chain, bro. It's my bike now, punk. That's exactly all these killings are. Like, you black people want to hope, you know, they come to the conscious, like they'll feel bad about it. No, they get ripped by killing us. And if you ain't gonna do nothing about it, man, then you need to step off on the real. Step up or step off. Like, we need to stop with the whole marching. We need to stop being on TV and cooning it up. Need to stop saying, oh, we need to understand their point of view. We need to understand everything that happened before the camera went on. We need to see every angle of this. Nah. We well beyond that. It's either throw down or show that you weak. Real talk, man. It's like, see, because I know, like, I got a nephew. You guys probably seen him if you're OGs to the channel, because he'll pop up in a video every so often. And I know if anything like this were to happen to him with the police or anything, knock on all the wood that I can find around this joint, there ain't gonna be no peaceful protest coming from me, bro. There ain't gonna be no, okay, he's surrounded by police and all of that. Like, nah, I'm coming for everybody. And if I gotta go down, I gotta go down for it. You feel me? Like, use my death for something better. Like, I lived a pretty good life so far. I don't want to die, but there will come a point where you have no other options. Because if they'll go ahead and kill my nephew, then they'll kill my other nephews. They'll kill my moms. They'll kill anybody. So I can't show that I'm gonna allow that to happen. Like, I have to be willing to go down for these things that I believe in, and I do. But as a people, we don't. As a people, we want to check. Dudes want to, okay, yeah, you killed my son. Throw me $100,000. I'm gonna go ahead and get me a new car, and things is cool. Like, nah. That's not how this is going down. Future generations are way more important than any kind of money that you could possibly come up off of it. And you have to protect the future generation by being the killmonger, if need be. You have to be willing to go all the way in for these things that you believe in. Whether you people feel as though you right or wrong, you know you right. Man. But got a little bit off the topic right there, man. But another interesting thing from that Rest in Power is how this whole community came about, where George Zimmerman is like being the lead of the neighborhood watch, where the neighborhood watch was nothing more than, let's watch these black people, where he's calling the police on little kids playing in the streets, where he's calling the police on just random black people at all times. In which, that's another thing to go back. Like, George Zimmerman consistently proved that he was a threat. He was violent towards police officers. He was constantly calling up the police line, and they didn't use any of this to arrest him. Like the fix was all the way in. But man, the whole housing, like it was a whole white complex. Like there's a whole bunch of complexes out there in America where it's quote unquote sundown towns, like places that black people aren't allowed to be in, but yet they can't specifically put up signs and say no colored people. At least they used to not be able to. But we pretty much back in Jim Crow right now, so I wouldn't be shocked if there's some posters or pictures of people saying no colored people allowed in this area right now, especially in a bunch of sundown towns that's out here. But so this was a neighborhood that was an all-white neighborhood that prided themselves on not having any black people in, but yet it was at the time that the bubble busted for housing. So when the bubble busted, a whole bunch of the houses and such that these white supremacists had, they lost them because white supremacy ain't going to keep you alive when all of the rich white people are going down. So with that being in mind, the people that was willing to rent and get up in these neighborhoods because it was a come up for them was black people. And these white people that was still in the neighborhood, they didn't like it, so they continued to practice the white supremacy. And that's pretty much what led to the whole aspect of all this racial profiling and violence against black people within that kind of complex. And it all came back to the economy and all that, man. And you know, you got to be wary of where you go and live. You got to be wary of where you move into, dude. Like, because it's been so long at that point in time, at least, but between overt racism and how overt racism is happening now and the 60s and all of that stuff, dude, people kind of got lax on that. People were like, okay, I'm just going to come up and be able to live in this neighborhood because I got money, and racism ain't really like that. But yet, when you look at guys like J. Cole, when he put up the footage of police running up into his house like he was Scarface. Like when you got people like Lil Wayne talking about in his music, like, okay, his next door neighbor was a drug dealer that they went on ahead and kicked out the neighborhood because he was a drug dealer, and they moved in pedophiles. You feel me? Like these, yeah, like that happened in Compton years ago. It's called gentrification. But yet they gentrify the neighborhoods, and then when the neighborhoods go down, black people start moving in, and then from there, all of the racial animosity and all of that stuff happens. Like you got to know these neighborhoods before you move into them joints, man. Like you definitely need to be more wary at this point in time right now, because like you got no excuse no more, man. Like all these white supremacists are wearing it on their shoulders, wearing it on their sleeves, and these neighborhoods, because you just came up and got a decent little amount of money, man. These white people in your neighborhood, they probably don't rock with you, man. Like I'll tell you about my neighborhood. My neighborhood it's mixed, but there's a bunch of white people and all that. And I realized the type of neighborhood that I'm in when I would go out and I would exercise. You feel me? I would go run around the block instead of going to like a gym or something like that. I'm like, let me just run around the block a few times. Let me stay in shape and all of this, man. And I did that. And I seen a lot of black people, a lot of white people, and all of this stuff in my neighborhood, which is whatever. But so I'm running around the neighborhood and I see this black guy in the military uniform. He was straight out the army. He was going door to door trying to get some kind of funding or something for something. I didn't really talk to him. But I ran past him one time. I saw him knocking on the doors. Second time I ran past him, knocking on another door. Third time I ran past him, police got him hemmed up on the ground, handcuffed. And I'm like, bruh, he's obviously part of the military. He's obviously looking to do something military wise. You feel me? But yet the police ran up on them, had the lights flashing, all that stuff, man. I crossed the street and ran around and ran back to the crib, man. And I haven't walked out like that in the neighborhood since, because I already know these people were already calling the police on me when I was running around already. And they just didn't catch me like they caught him. And that's the thing that these white people, like, did you know that there are apps out there, like, on how they are calling up the law enforcement and all of this? Like, they're doing it with apps, and whole communities are able to discuss it with each other, to talk about the suspicious things that's quote unquote happening in the neighborhoods and such. So if you have the app, you can see how many of the people within the community is on that nonsense. And I'm all but sure there's a good selection of them in my neighborhood, dude. So I'm good on being out here running around and all of that. I'm not about to get caught slipping. But that's the thing. You got to understand the neighborhood that you're about to move into, no matter if it's like a step up because of monetary and all of that stuff, man, and got better schools and all that. But you need to pull up on some black people that's living within that neighborhood and ask them, like, yo, what it looking like up in here? Like, do you get harassed by the HUA? Do you get harassed by neighborhoods? I mean, do you get harassed by the neighbors? Are they snitching on you about every little thing? Because that's dangerous. In many cases, like sticking around with your own people, even if it's living in somewhat squalor, that may offer a bit more protection. But yet, I ain't never gonna knock anybody who's trying to come up and live better, have better means and all of that, man. I'm just saying, protect yourself at all times on some Floyd Mayweather. Uh, but yeah, man, that rest in power joint, man, I like it. Jay-Z is definitely doing his thing with it. You feel me? It's so depressing. It's so sad. Still to this day, it's still sad. And with it still being that sad, and you seeing everything that happened within this consistently happening with new people every day, you realize, okay, it's us as a people. We haven't learned. We still think that the justice system, well, judicial system, is going to offer us justice when it's not. If it didn't offer it for Trayvon, and people still have gotten emboldened from there, and there's been what, hundreds, well, I want to say hundreds, but dozens upon dozens of similar cases happening consistently, and we still ain't seen no justice, and you guys still on that, well, we just need some good white people to come out and say something, then you simply don't get it. And we too weak to survive. But I'm finna survive, or I'm taking everybody down with me who pretty much messed up my whole vision of survival. Oh man. But indeed, well, I mean, Jay-Z is definitely doing his thing though. Like, I'm happy, like, for all these people, like, because I get a lot of people, especially some of my homies, they always be so mad about Jay-Z, saying, oh, Jay, he never does anything for the community. He does everything for himself. It's all about money with him. And I mean, something like this, where he's giving complete detail of everything that happened and helping recall the memories of people and helping show people that this whole mindset of where these white supremacists are right now, it all really started from this, but yet they was acting like this before. That's big for us as a people. Jay-Z silently does a lot of really great things for the black community. It's only until people start dropping dime, like the whole Black Lives Matter movement, on how he was supporting all of that, and individuals within it just dropped a dime on him for doing such, in which he likes to keep them things close to his chest. Like it's shocking that he even came out talking about his relationship with Beyonce on these albums, but yet that's all the money play. But at the end of the day, man, he does a lot of good things for the black community. And this is a lot like when Malcolm X came out. Like Spike Lee will forever get props for doing Malcolm X. This is Jay-Z's Malcolm X, somewhat. Well, this on top of the last one that he did about the kid that killed himself. There's been so many of us dying, man, that it's becoming difficult to remember the names, dude. Ah, the names of injustice is just so many. But Jay is definitely putting in that work on a socially conscious level. And I'm hoping that this joint about Zimmerman still walking free and all of this and the anger that should still be there, the injustice that has consistently still happened to us. I'm hoping that we eventually rise up. People still despise Jay-Z. He wants to replace his sins with great deeds. Yeah, and that's the thing that a lot of people do. They it's like that one Spike Lee movie with The Inside Man, where the dude who owned the bank, he pretty much was able to make the bank based off the blood that he has on his hands by selling out all the Jews and stuff through concentration camps. And to try to make it right, he tries to do so much good. He had all these awards and all of that stuff you did. But I don't really see the such deep wrongs that Jay-Z did that people should hold such animosity to him with. Diddy needs to do more stuff too, and T.I. is the most outspoken. Yes, T.I. is probably one of the most outspoken rappers right now. He definitely uses his platform or what's left of it for socially conscious things, and I love that about him. And Killer Mike definitely doing his thing too. Diddy, you could Diddy, man, you can sense a bit of tap dancing with him. He I'm not going to deny Diddy, man. I mean, he's a great symbol to strive for. T.I. is kind of pretentious with the black empowerment through the drama. Eh, yeah, I mean, I don't know about pretentious. Like he definitely speaks his mind and he goes in which that's really what's needed. And I mean, he'll back it up by being out there, where a lot of dudes won't be out there. I mean, only but a few people actually was out there like that. Like J. Cole was out there for Trayvon, I do believe. And I mean, J. Cole, he puts in the work kisses, even though I do feel as though J. Cole, the instances where he needs to learn more about social injustice and white supremacy and things that we can do to succeed than to consistently speak. You feel me? Like just because you have this platform doesn't mean that you should be the one speaking up. Like you need to actually have a plan, actually know what you need to talk about before you just say some things and get ran in circles by other people. You feel me? Like J. Cole, he went he was in a few of those interviews and stuff from way back when he was talking about, yeah, we kind of need to know the side of the law enforcement, where we need the whole story, that type of stuff. And I'm on that point right now that I don't need to know your side of the story no more. I don't like when I see the injustice happening, I don't care if you try to spin it like, oh, I'm mentally incapable, like they trying to do the Naya's killer or whatever. Nah, I ain't buying none of that. I ain't on your side. Nobody's on our side. So therefore, I'm ride or die for mine. Chance the Rapper. I did see a bunch of things that Chance the Rapper did, like when he put up the money for the school. That was a cool thing, even though like that might have been just throwing money away because the whole school system is rigged to throw all kids into what a special education, and they're not well financed at all because like they pretty much probably already ran through that Chance the Rapper money, and it probably never trickled down to the kids that he wanted to empower to do things with. There's better ways to spend that kind of money instead of giving it to the system that has proven that they don't know what to do with the money and constantly ruin our kids through the school to prison pipeline type stuff, man. Like these are not the people you should be giving money to. But I mean, his heart is in the right place, though, and that's what I like. My brothers that got their hearts in the right places because nobody really knows specifically what we need to do in order to get out from under. Like, there's certain things that's happening that it provides the foundation for success. Uh, like the real estate dude, Jay something. He got the whole Black Wall Street thing popping off. And I don't know where he's going to put the Black Wall Street, but yet that's something that I'm very interested in, which that's something that can help uplift us. But yet we have to understand how Black Wall Street went down too. What up, Amani? We have to understand that just because you got a bunch of paid people that's working together to do something like a Black Wall Street and you got so many millions invested in it in order for it to succeed, doesn't mean that these people won't come through and dismantle it. Man, they bombed Philly for the movement. They bombed them. Black Wall Street didn't fall apart because black people just didn't know how to spend their money and all that, man. White people came through and dismantled it and burnt it to the ground. So there's a bunch of people out here that's trying to make moves to get us out from under this white supremacy, but yet nobody really knows everything necessary to do it. But all I can tell you is if somebody comes and tries you, like if they come and try your women or something, because they cowards, they never coming at black dudes or whatever, and if they do, they get knocked clean out. But if they go up against, if you come up and you see that happen, man, then you need to lay these people out. Like you need to stand behind your people. Like, okay, here's the thing that I'm very disappointed in because I'm from Pittsburgh. Like I was born and raised in Pittsburgh for 13, 14 years before I started moving all through the South and all of that stuff. But so in Pittsburgh, some social injustice happened in a restaurant where this these white people ran up, like the restaurant manager or something ran up on a black chick that was in there and they beat her up bad. And these black dudes is in the corner just filming it and all of that. And like, oh, this gonna be on World Star or something like that, dude. Like, if I was there, I would have picked up my chair and beat that dude with it. And that's kind of what you need to do in this day and age, dude. It doesn't matter what she did at the time. As a black man, you can't sit up and watch a black woman get beat up by any white person right now, even to a black dude. Like, you need to go in and stop that. Cedric, what does white supremacy mean? Uh, okay, the best definition for it is one that, again, Tariq Nasheed said, like, having supremacy over another person is the ability to kill them and their children and not get any consequences. You are supreme over that people. And these white people are obviously supreme over us because they have been murdering us overtly in cold blood since Trayvon. Well before Trayvon, but yet social media has shined such a light on it that they've been able to get away with it and get slaps on the wrist at max. So that's what white supremacy is. That's what supremacy is. And that's why if anybody ever tell you, oh, you're a black supremacist, they lying. They don't know what supremacy means. Like, if a black person lays a hand on a white dude, police is coming up on you, bruh. One. Two, if you film it and post it on YouTube, your channel's getting banned. You feel me? Like, the system shows you exactly who's the supreme people here. Now, does that mean that we can't lay hands upon these people? That we won't knock them clean out? Like we can't catch them slipping? Like my people in LA caught them slipping. Like if you guys didn't see, white supremacist group went out to LA and they tried to boycott Maxine Waters with guns and all that, man. And people in LA was out there and about that life and caught them before they can get to the police. Like, as soon as they parked the car, there they was. In which that's how it needs to be. Man. But I'm about to get up out of here, bro. I'm mad tired. Like, I'm gonna give it to 125 hour and 25 minutes. So y'all got like 8 minutes to ask whatever question y'all want. Hit me with your best shot, dude. But to sum it all up, I mean, well, yeah, to sum it up, man. Go ahead and watch that Rest in Power. It's gonna make you upset. It's gonna be so sad and all of that, man. But yeah, it's a necessary thing for you to watch so that you can see that everything is running in a cycle. These people are running the same game plan. You need to, like, and we need to be different this go round. We need to go ahead and lay them out. Like, so you're still a fan too? Oh yeah, I'm still a fan, but I'm not an NFL fan though. Like, I'm not watching the NFL this season. Well, I ain't watched the NFL last season. But the thing, well, I did. But see, I got my own form of protest when it comes to the NFL. Because I saw a comedian on Instagram when the whole the H&M thing happened, where they put the black kid with the monkey shoulder and all that, man. Like, a comedian was on Instagram like, yo, like, all of that boycotting and marching and all of that is dead, bro. So the new type of boycott is we about to go in H&M and steal stuff. And I'm like, yo, that's genius. So I'm not going to watch football, but I will watch football on some websites where they don't get the credit for me to watch it. You feel me? So, so basically, the NFL ain't getting no money from me, but I'm going to enjoy my team, the Steelers, where I can. Is the NFL racist? Have you been watching the news? Yes. I mean, look at it like this. These owners of NFL franchises are old white billionaires. Doesn't that fit the profile of racists? Doesn't that fit the profile of the people who has wealth passed down from white racism, from slavery? Like, that's the thing. A lot of people think that that slave money just disappeared. That slave money didn't disappear, bro. Like, straight from the slaves, they invested that money into the railroad, in which the railroad money went into the stock exchange. And the stock exchange and all of that made a whole bunch of these people wealthy so that they can buy these NFL franchises. Like, all of the money, you can see where it's from, and you can see how it's amassed to being so massive in America. Like, all these other countries ain't as rich as America because of free labor from way back in the day, and then investing that money as time consistently go. I don't believe now the NBA is more of a players' league. You feel me? Like, the NBA players, they get like actually a bigger percentage on the media budget and all of that, and they dictate what teams are able to make money and who they decide to play with and all of that stuff. So, I mean, I ain't got too many issues with the NBA because the NBA, they know where the bread and butter is. They're not going to turn, like, not saying that there's no overt racism in the NBA too, like Sterling from back in the day. Like, he wasn't the only racist in the NBA owner. You feel me? But yet they got him up out of it because they realize it's a players' league and all the players are black. So we have to straighten our faces. So I really don't have that massive of an issue with the NBA because they know how to, like, the black people in the NBA know how to operate. The NFL dudes is just so scared. And yes, like they won't sign Kaepernick like this. Like, when you look at the statistics, like, and I'm hoping like the whole case that Colin Kaepernick has been building up and all of that, I'm hoping that that actually pans out for him being successful. You feel me? Getting some paper up off these dudes because they're going up against the CBA and all of that. Because when you look at the stats, they keep trying to say that Kaepernick can't play. Like, Kaepernick is the only person in his prime in all of NFL history to be unsigned right now as a quarterback that put up the kinds of statistics that he did. The only other quarterback that went unsigned at that stage of his career was Garrard from the Jaguars from back in the day. I wouldn't blame anybody if you don't remember who he was because he wasn't that good of a quarterback. Colin Kaepernick was Pro Bowler, almost a Super Bowl MVP, made it to a Super Bowl. So I'm hoping that the collusion case that he's been building up over after all of this time will pan out for him. That he'll probably never step foot on the NFL like gridiron ever again. You feel me? Which is sad, but it is what it is. Like, he got a brighter future elsewhere anyway. Like, all these great things that he's been doing in life. Like, I'm happy for him finding happiness and getting out of the NFL before any like CTEs and anything like that happens to him with concussions and all that. Which, I mean, I still want him to get signed. I still want him to get his money. He still got 2, 3, maybe. He honestly got 5 more years left in him when you seeing how the NFL babies quarterbacks, which they won't do that when he gets back. But yet, it's a sad end to his career. But yet, the life is bigger than football, and I think he's going to be okay. But indeed, brothers, man, it was a good show today, man. Another hour, 25 minutes. I'm about to go grab something to eat, dude. I'm starving. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. If Travis Scott does drop on Thursday, I'll probably review that album. Last question. Hit me, Cedric. Oh, what do you think about Trippie Redd music? Yeah, he's pretty garbage, bro. Like, he wasn't he on the freshman class? I think he was on the freshman class, or maybe he wasn't. But no, he had to be, because that's why I really went back and watched a whole bunch of his stuff, man. He's pretty garbage, bro. Like, all of them, I'm not gonna say all of them Southern Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Miami dudes are trash, because I like Wi-Fi's funeral. Wi-Fi's funeral was pretty cool. And somebody else down there is I too. But yet that main little group of Smoke Pub, Trippy, uh, who else? The other more popular ones and stuff, man, like them dudes are garbage, bro. All the way garbage. But but I can't be mad because they worked together to build themselves up. They came up on the damn double XL list together. A Trippie Redd's from Ohio. Okay. Indeed. But he kind of fits that profile with all of them other dudes too, and he's just as bad. Is it? Oh, it's pouring down raining outside, bruh. He like a rock person? I don't know what you mean by that, Cedric. But the songs that I listen to from him, they do sound the same. They all doing the same kind of thing. And this is what happens in the music industry, though. You feel me? When somebody gets hot, everybody else is like, yo, I need to get hot like that too. So I'm going to do everything that they did, whether it's the music and all of that, man. And I'm going to go ahead and try to find my success like that. So therefore, there become waves of people doing the same thing on top of labels looking at like, okay, so this is the new sound that everybody is trying to kick out. So let me go ahead and sign the competition to this. And when the labels begin to sign the competition for these individuals, then overall you get a whole collection of people sounding the exact same, and people get drained of that particular music. And yes, you guys are his song All Rock Bigger Than Satan, Sean. Huh. And that's another thing too. Like that's the thing that makes him a little more different than the rest, is that he actually tries to go hard with the singing, but yet he can't hold a note to save his life. He ain't got no lyricism. His delivery is fifth grade remedial. Like, I honestly simply do not like the way that this music industry is going, but yet haven't liked the way the music industry has been going back to Soldier Boy and all of that, and it's going to just continue to get worse. Like, how much worse can it get? Every time you ask that question, the next worst artist comes out. Travis Scott gets away with that fake singing all the time. He does. Like, see, Travis Scott, people just like Travis Scott. And I don't necessarily do. I don't like the whole melancholy sound that he got, because it's the musicianship behind it isn't really there. And he really can't sing like that either. But people let it rock because it's notable. Just like people are letting Trippie Redd rock. Like, you can see a whole generation of people that's doing this fake singing. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing what Kanye did when he came out. You feel me? Like, Kanye knew he couldn't sing. So what Kanye did was he had John Legend and uh I forget his name, but he had other dudes who can sing go up underneath him, like his vocal being the main vocal, but yet they harmonizing underneath him to make it seem like it worked. Now, from T-Pain can actually sing a bit. He can actually hold a note. He actually knows how to use auto-tune and all of that stuff. T-Pain is cool. He just chose to go in that direction. Uh, but now it's 1:30 now, hour and a half now, and I'm starving, but I ain't eat nothing all day. I'ma holler at you guys, man, tomorrow. Y'all be easy.